This is 2OF Entertainment.
Hey guys, so I'm at the St. James Spectacle at Pall Mall, and this kind of replaces the Regent Street Motor Show in a sense, because as you can see behind me, lots of old 100-year-old cars that are going to be doing the London to Brighton run tomorrow. And I found my buddy here, Mohammed Lukman. Say hello to everybody.
Hello to the viewers. Good to see you, Shazad, again.
And you basically specialize in vintage and classic cars, don't you?
That's correct. Yeah, it's my very first time out here, and
you mean out here by this? You mean by this show? Because you spend a lot of time in the UK.
Oh yes, very much. Shuttling every month, I would say. So I'm here for the show, and there's a surprise I have in store for you. I have just behind me the car I will be riding in, and this came as a surprise. It's you can see that right at the back. So I want you to be introduced to the one who will be driving it. That's Richard Biddle, a person you may know very well. So Richard will talk about it, and I'm super excited, and it's my very first time. Veteran cars is something I've never been in this domain, and London to Brighton is something I wanted to do. We've done the Milli a few times, but the Dubai one, right, is the third one we are doing now. And out here in Pall Mall, I've been to the RAC. Got my media credentials from there, and looking forward. I just came to cover the event, and much to my surprise.
So you're an author as well, haven't you? So tell like me, by the way. Check out my books. Don't forget. But you've written one or two books.
That's right. And there's another one in the making. I'm hoping to get my long-awaited book, Automobiles of the Nizams, out as well. Hopefully very soon. And there are a number of other things being worked out.
Automobiles of the Nizam. So these are basically the royal families of India. These are their books. These are their cars that you focus on.
That's correct. Nizam was the most, he was the premier ruler in princely India, as you know, that ruled the largest princely state in India, the wealthiest, the richest man of the time, as we know, right? And since I'm from Hyderabad, I've got that connect, which is why. And then my other interest is, of course, Arabian cars, the Sheikh Zayed car, if you remember, right? That's something that I'm writing a book on, which I discovered in Austria, the Phantom 5 from the London Motor Show. And then there's an interesting one I found recently, which was for the Al-Thani family. And the Al-Thani family is the very first Rolls-Royce that went to Qatar, that is, right? A Silver Ray. So I went ahead and acquired it, and it will soon be changing hands, hopefully going back to the family itself in Qatar. So yes, very much. And then my involvement with the Geneva Motor Show, you know that. You must come next year, perhaps, right? And
maybe we'll do that. Let me know if you want me to go to the Geneva Motor Show.
You must. Because the actual one has wound up, as you know, the Geneva one. So it's only the Qatari one, which is in operation.
So for anyone that doesn't know, there is a Geneva Motor Show, and there's a Qatari Geneva Motor Show as well. So yeah.
That's right, in Doha. So
so I'll wait for the invite for that one then.
Certainly, most welcome anytime, yes.
So the first thing I said to this gentleman when I saw him was that I have got brown leather envy, because look at this guy. Oh, look at that, the boots. Look at that. And actually, I love. Look at that. I love the buckling on this. This is amazing. Wow, and this is full leather.
Ostrich leather from Austria. Note the coins, which are 1898 German 5-mark pieces.
Say that again so that people can hear you.
The coins are German 5-mark pieces from the turn of the century.
That's amazing.
Yeah, 1898, 1904, that sort of thing.
And this thing is thick. This thing is designed to sort of withstand the elements, isn't it?
100%, yeah. Look, there is no such thing as bad weather. There is such a thing as inadequate clothing.
One way to put it. Well, excellent. So just once again, tell everybody who you are.
So my name's Richard Biddulph. I'm a dealer in these wonderful old cars. We sell Rolls-Royce, Bentley, and anything veteran or early. We're in a Darroch this year, 1902. It's a single-cylinder car, but it's 9 horsepower, so it's quite powerful. So we're going to put 5 people inside it and go up all the steep hills with a single cylinder, which many of them won't.
Now the thing is, it's quite funny because you say it's 9 horsepower and it's very powerful, and of course we live in an era with 500-600 horsepower regular cars, 9 horsepower.
9 horsepower back in the day was pretty state-of-the-art for a single cylinder, so it's quite a good car. Last year I did it in a 5 horsepower, and we had to really work at it to get ourselves down there.
So the 4 horsepower really makes a difference?
Makes a huge difference. But even with 9, you're still juggling the advanced retard and trying to get absolutely the maximum power out of the car, particularly when you come to hills.
So driving these is not just driving, it's an art to it.
You've got to have some mechanical sympathy, you've got to have a feel for the car, and you've got to understand the controls to get the absolute best out of the engine.
Yeah. Though I think I was looking through the catalogue, I think the most powerful car here is like a 20 horsepower, isn't it?
No, there'll be a 50 horsepower Mercedes down the end, 50, 60 horsepower, which is it's 12 million quid, or dollars rather. And it was bought by Mr. Walton of Walmart stores in America a year ago, and this will be his first run in it.
That's amazing. So you actually deal in these cars. So,
Absolutely.
So what do you call them? Vintage cars, right?
Yeah, well, these are veterans, but anything before the war is vintage, and we deal in both. We sell about 150 a year, and there's actually many old friends down here that we sold previously.
So who buys these? I mean, are they for collections? Are they to be used at events like this, or?
Our typical client buying these old cars, the demographic would be one of two types. It would be a new money oligarch who wants new and shiny, or it's a retired colonel who wants original patinated. And we've got people all the way between those two also.
And they're all keen to drive them as well.
When you drive London to Brighton, it's a day you're going to remember all your life. And days you remember all your life are one of two kinds. They're either very good or very bad. We don't know what it's going to be tomorrow. We're going to find out. Depending on the weather, depending on the car, depending on whether we fall out of it, you know. We'll see.
Well, God willing, it'll be really great. So if somebody wanted to get into this, I mean, as an entry level, what are we sort of looking at?
Entry level is £50,000, and that gets you a curved dash Oldsmobile or an Orient buckboard or something like that. But you're always better to spend a bit more money, because bear in mind these cars are going up in value. So the more you spend, the greater your return is going to be when you sell it or when your descendants sell it down the road.
And are they still possible to run? I mean, can you get parts? Are they being fabricated? What's happening?
Parts for these have to be made. So this year we put a new crown wheel and pinion in the axle because it's getting noisy. We went to a gear maker, had the gear made, put new bearings in, and touch wood, hopefully it'll run well tomorrow. We'll see.
That's awesome. Well, I wish you the best of luck tomorrow, both of you guys. I hope you enjoy it.
Swagger down the street with your red lips and funky beat. You better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die.
Hope you're enjoying this video. If you are, make sure you hit that like button, comment, share, tell the world. Yeah, what were you saying about the registrations? It's always interesting they got these old registrations on, isn't it?
Registrations, I mean, they've shot up in value like anything, you know that.
Oh, really?
And you know how much the W01?
So this is what? FP4.
FP4.
Look at that. Yeah.
Exactly, I know. And the yesterday, well, we had at the RM auction, W01, the number plate, which went for about 223k, I think. Yeah, that's a Pall Mall saw 1903. We saw the Nizam, had
1903.
Yeah, the Maharajas back in the day had a few of these old cars.
Yeah.
When the cars started coming in early, right?
Yeah.
And we have a lovely Napier here, and for Napier, Nizam was.
Look at these. I mean, they're almost like art, aren't they? When you look at the pinstriping that goes into them, and you look at all the work that goes into the colouring.
Exactly. Okay, look at that. 1904 Napier. Wonderful. And the Nizam was the biggest customer for a Napier back in the day. The Nizam of Hyderabad.
Oh, really?
Yes. Big shot of this. Lovely car. So the Napiers did make it to India as well for the royalty, back. And, the Maharajas did have it, the Oldsmobile, the entry-level car.
So are these cars still there in India, these old ones?
A few of these. Veterans are very few in India,
yeah.
but some of them do have.
Look at this thing. I was amazed by this
Yeah.
thing over here, which is it's basically just, this one. This is literally a plank of wood.
It is indeed.
And a seat
That's
and
right,
four
yes.
wheels.
Yes, that's an Orient, it looks like, from Ireland, is it? Yep.
I mean, that is literally
It is.
just a plank of wood,
That's
seat,
right. Yeah.
a picnic basket, four wheels and a tiller,
Nothing
some sort of engine in the back. I guess one cylinder?
But it's very much so. Yeah. looks like. And then you have the Cadillac, 1904, and they're quite popular ones out here. So you see, when you do the London to Brighton, I'm told by the experts, right, doing it in one cylinder is great fun. Not so much when you have these, big cylinder cars. Example, these 4, 5, and because you literally cruise your way to Brighton, and that's not what you want.
Yeah.
You want to be struggling all your way.
Yeah, you want to have a bit of an adventure.
Exactly.
Like the gentleman was saying, is like, either it'll be the best day of your life or the worst day.
as Richard rightly said, exactly. I know, yeah.
So again, going back to, I'm fascinated by the fact that you say that these are actually in India. So do they get used there? Do they do things like this over there?
No, we don't have a veteran, rally or an event as such. But some of them do remain in palaces. I mean, I can think of only just a couple, remaining with collectors out in India. But sadly, no veteran cars. But vintage, yes, quite a few. Even before vintage is the stage of the phase of the Edwardian cars, and they do have the Edwardian cars, in India as well. Yeah, back there. They do.
It's
Lovely.
extraordinary to think about the fact that look at
Back
that.
to 1899. Look at that. And the oldest
When you look
car-
at the lamps on these things, it's incredible, right?
The oldest
Literally,
car-
you have to light that up. You literally have to light that up. That's amazing. Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
And I'm told the oldest car here is an 1894 car. So
1894. I think I saw it actually. I think
Did you?
I've definitely seen an 1895 one. You see like the amount of work that goes into these are basically like coaches that they used to do for horses that they then just put an engine on.
it just became horseless carriage.
Yeah.
Simple. Yes, that's it.
Quite literally. Old Roy from California.
What year is this?
This is a 1903,
Yeah. It says curved dash. The Oldsmobile. Yeah, we see the curved dash.
So literally what they mean by curved dash is that it has a curved dash.
That's correct.
Fantastic.
They had a big fire in the factory. Very few of these curved dash were saved.
Oh,
back in the
right.
day. Yeah, the Oldsmobile in the US, and then
And of course, the thing is that we were joking with what was his name, Richard, earlier about the get-up that he has. But we see quite a few people wearing, as you can see, the lady over there in a thick leather jacket. But these are actually necessary, aren't they?
They are. You have to beat the weather elements tomorrow, so on the run. That's right. It keeps you dry, and
I mean, these things have no roof, they have no doors. Even some of them, they have nothing. You're literally exposed to the elements.
very much so. Look at these lead tires. The braking system out here.
There's your braking right there. There's your suspension. There's your braking. That's your steering.
This is motoring in its nascent stage, isn't it? So, yeah.
Have you driven something like this?
No, nothing. Nothing as early as this, I would say.
What's the oldest thing you've driven?
A 1919 Austin. 1919, that is.
Wow. So that must be quite a task, because I was fortunate to drive a Bentley blower. I think that's 22 maybe or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me, that was a task and a half to drive that. What was it like to drive a 1919 Austin then?
A tough task, tough. In fact, it's laborious, as you see. It's physically as well. It's pretty challenging. Yeah, it was. And it is a 20 horsepower Austin, which my elder brother has. His name is Suleiman. Back in India, Rambler is a very famous car as well, as you know, from the US. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful, yes. Look at the number of passengers you can see there. Yeah.
That's amazing.
5 easily.
Look at that, amazing. Look at the window on this thing. It literally is a window.
It is.
That could be a door in somebody's house. That could be like off a train carriage, couldn't it?
It looks very nice.
That's extraordinary. So where is this car? Is this car that you mentioned in India?
In India it is. It is in Hyderabad, in my elder brother's collection. His name is Suleiman, and he's got a number of cars. In that, the oldest that he has is an Austin, 20 horsepower.
Wow.
And to my knowledge, that's the only proper Austin in India, the only one to be surviving. Yep. Again, a Cadillac. Cadillac is very popular when it comes to veterans. Yeah, purely because of the power, and they were pretty late as well, late cars, as you can see. 1904 is the last year, as you know. It has to be pre-1905 to qualify for a veteran, as you know. So.
Oh, it has to be pre-1905.
That's right. So 1904 is the cut-off year, which makes a car veteran. And
So is it a surprise to you, because I know you just said that Cadillacs are popular, but is it a surprise to see so many Cadillacs and Oldsmobiles, for example, here?
you see, actually, we have a lot of entrants flying in as well, their cars, so, right? So people from the continent as well, from Europe, they come. So, in fact, the UK itself has its own share of Cadillacs, but then you have all these international entrants who bring the cars. Yeah.
Dion, look at that. Look at that, that's beautiful, isn't it?
Beautiful,
I mean, that's genuinely gorgeous.
It is.
Look at the fuel tank. Look at that.
With a Henry binder.
That looks like a leather bag, doesn't it? A satchel, but actually,
Made of tin.
that is a fuel can. But as long as you've got the cradle for the phone, the only thing that doesn't belong. But otherwise, what a beautiful thing.
Looks like a palace.
It does. This is luxury right here. Look at the mechanism of the canopy on this. Tail lights. And it's a huge thing. What do you reckon the horsepower is on this? 20, we reckon.
This reminds me of an interesting story. The Nizam of Hyderabad had about 18 DD1 Boutons due to be delivered, he had. And when he came to the throne, after his father passed away, the sixth Nizam, so he had 18 of these cars. The order was cancelled by him because he had other matters to attend to in terms of the economy of the state. So when he came to the throne, he wrote to Dion Bouton, all of this is featured in my book, cancelling the order for all the 18 cars. He said, this is an unnecessary expense for us, so please take it back. So that's how, conservative he was.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. There's a story like that in the UAE, isn't there? When I think the Sheikh of Dubai ordered a bunch of Range Rovers for his police, his fledgling police,
Yes.
and then he went on a trip, and by the time he got back, all of the cars had disappeared
Oh, did he?
because the family members thought that they'd bought them gifts.
Never heard of it, really.
Yeah, but the thing is, and when he came back, it would have been a dishonor to ask for them back. So he just bought more.
Oh, I can imagine. So order more.
Yeah, just order some more. Yeah.
Wonderful, look at this.
This is amazing.
Should be 1800s again.
That literally like a stagecoach sort of wheels on this thing.
1898 Fission.
1890. How extraordinary.
Fantastic.
Incredible. I mean, the thing about them is that you can see them in museums and
course,
stuff like that.
of course.
But to
But
be
out
able
and
to see
about
them
in action,
to see them in where they're meant to be, which is out
Exactly.
about,
Exactly.
under actual natural light.
That's right.
And then to see them in action tomorrow, you'll be riding one. That'd be amazing.
Certainly. And the Albion again, I'll show you another
I
connection.
think these are modern cars.
The Albion, Nizam again was a big customer for Albion. In the advertisement, they had used his name, Nizam's name.
really?
Yes, yes, as one of the important customers. And then this became the public transport as well in Hyderabad back in the day.
Right. Oh,
So
really?
Albion buses, huge buses, like
Wow.
London buses.
Yeah.
They were from the Albion Mark brand
extraordinary.
back in the day.
Cool.
Wonderful.
Dude, thanks so much for talking us around this. This has been absolutely awesome. And we'll see you again soon, I'm
Good
sure.
to see you again. Good to see you again. Cheers. Thanks. Bye.
So I've just bumped into another friend of mine here, and Dominic, but I know you from the project shop. What are you doing here today at Pall Mall?
I've been asked by the Royal Automobile Club to put a STEM and educational area together, which we're part of. So we have Ralph Hosier, who you know quite well.
Another friend of mine, he's back there licking a cup there. Look, what?
And just down here we have Tony Hoskins, who is putting a photo reconnaissance Spitfire back into the air. So he's got a load of bits and pieces for kids to interact with, some 3D printed cameras to put together, and we're just part of this amazing event in Pall Mall.
So how does this sort of fit in with what the event is about, which is vintage and classic cars?
In order to be a part of certainly London events, and you'll know what's going on with that, in order to shut this road, an awful lot of hoops had to be jumped through, not only to get the cars in here, but with personal engagement, education engagement, sustainable fuels, and it's the whole story that we have to all play our part for everything to carry on in the way we would like it to. We've got to stay relevant, and that's what this bit's all about.
Is it also about encouraging the next generation? Because, I mean, as we look at these older cars, particularly as we move further down the road and we look at the veteran cars, and the demographic there is certainly a little bit older than it is, say, at the other end of the road, is this a way to sort of bridge the gap and bring the two together?
I think one of the biggest things is those of us who are into cars, have probably always been into cars, and what we've got to realise is that there is a generation who don't have the connection that we do. So we've got to find ways of getting those people engaged, and these kind of events, showing them what's out there, showing how it might give them a job, showing how the thing goes forward, and the difference between the veteran stuff and the hypercar stuff at the other end is all part of them becoming part of this in the future. But if they don't know any of this exists, why should they get involved?
Let's get Ralph in as well. So tell me a little bit about what you're up to here today.
I'm not up to anything. Anything they've said, it's all lies.
You don't believe that, do you?
No.
Come around this side so I can get you both in shot together. But what we were talking earlier, just now, we were talking about the fact that we're kind of like bridging the gap here between the really veteran stuff over there, the supercar stuff over there, and trying to bring the younger generation. Is this something, the way to get younger people into cars? Because we are seeing a losing interest in the next generation when it comes to automobiles, aren't we?
Yeah, what I'm saying is, particularly with the skills side of things, they're really switched on. They want to learn stuff. They want to get involved with this thing. And there's something in our society, particularly at schools, that tends to just switch them off from that. If we can catch them at that age where they've still got that enthusiasm, then they are going to be the mechanics and the engineers of the future that will keep these wonderful machines going.
Do you think it's possible to do that with the education system it is at the moment? You know, because I think you're 2 steps ahead of me, aren't you? Because I think that the system itself needs to be completely reformed, right? But to present some realistic options to the younger generation.
Yeah, absolutely right. Our education system is indistinguishable from when it was in the Victorian age. It's kids sitting on benches with desks writing stuff down. It's rubbish. It hasn't moved with the times. You think about how our phones have changed in the last 20 years. You think about how the computers have changed. Everything around us has changed. Schools have not. They are not fit for purpose.
And so what is the sort of message that you're bringing to an event like this? I mean, if you meet somebody here, a young person, how are you encouraging them? How do you get them into this? How do you tell them that there is a future to be optimistic about?
The important thing is, if you love the stuff here, you see it moving, you smell the fumes, and you just think, yes, I really love this. If you want to see that still moving in the future, then you've got to be the people who are looking after it and making it work.
Well, I mean, you know what you're talking about, and hopefully you'll get a few more converts. Just before we go, just tell everybody about the events that you're doing up at Bicester.
At the Classic Collective Workshop, we are doing a last Sunday in the month, every month, car meet, the kind of standard coffee and cake stuff. And then we are doing a series of special events. Go to the website, classiccollective.co.uk, and you can see all the stuff we're doing and when it's happening.
And this is with Simeon, my buddy, who's been working on my car in the past at the project shop as well.
It is indeed, and we are North Bicester in what I am now calling the Classic Quarter.
Bicester's amazing. Bicester is like a micro city in terms of car passion, car enthusiasm, fixing. I said to somebody the other day that if you want a car fixed, a classic car fixed or restored, Bicester is the place to go.
Well, Simeon and the project shop business before this one he was one of the very first people to start doing classic car repair in the way he did in Bicester. But you also have to bear in mind that just across from us we have the headquarters of Extreme E. Just around the corner we've got the AlphaTauri Formula One wind tunnel. Just down the road from that we have, in the old March Formula One buildings, we have probably the world's best Subaru Impreza specialist. So yes, Bicester is an absolute hub.
Absolutely awesome. Well, I'll see you up there. Thanks so much for talking to me, guys. Thanks a lot.
Cheers. Nice to see you.
So I've just noticed you guys have won something. Tell me what you've won.
We've won the Young Generations Awards. We're a student-run veteran car club. So yeah, end up being the youngest people on the run this year. Well, most years.
So are you driving this tomorrow then?
I'm not personally. I was last year's driver. We kind of cycle through different drivers every year. The driver tomorrow isn't here today. He's getting lots of sleep.
He's getting ready for it. It's a bit of an ordeal, is it?
Yeah, no, it's quite a physically demanding task. But even if we won't be driving, we'll be in cars along and help fix, as he inevitably probably has minor breakdowns along the way.
So where are you guys from?
Imperial College London. This is the mascot for the engineering faculty. So just a little bit away by the Royal Albert Hall.
And how many of you are involved in this project?
Currently, or come back after leaving college?
Both.
Well,
A small
in terms of
dozen.
students, we'll probably have about 10 kind of throughout each year. But then every year we build on all the previous chairs and previous people part of it. And
So we have
we've got 24 people coming this weekend to join us for the run, and that's only a small amount of all the people that have been involved. Just sitting here today, we've met so many of the expo people, so it's a really lovely kind of, it stays with you for life.
Yeah, we have hundreds of old alumni who send messages of support all the time about how they used to remember. We get video calls from people whose parents were bow drivers. It's really a wonderful mascot that's persevered through Imperial's history.
So are you all engineering students?
Well, engineering faculty. He laughs
I'm an
because
imposter. I study computing, but you don't have to be an engineer to join. So anyone's open to do it.
So this is really interesting. I mean, one of the things that I was actually talking to one of my friends up there about is looking at the generational difference as we travel from that side of the road to that side of the road, and you can actually see the difference. Do you think it is important for the kind of stuff that you're doing, to encourage more of the next generation into veteran and vintage classic cars like this?
100%, 100%. It really is the experience that stays with you for life, and you know, it makes you such a more. When you're a driver, you're so much more cautious, and you can really understand all the basic mechanical principles, even not studying mechanical engineering or anything such. And yeah, it's just an amazing experience. As soon as you ride in one of these, you can't get enough, and it's nice having the full spread of people involved.
And also the thing about these cars, I mean, we're talking cars that are over 100 years old. I mean, I think 1905, I think, is the latest one, isn't it? And in order for there to be people that still understand these cars, that can keep them going, that can keep them on the road, this is important, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's a real kind of, the generation is passed down through mostly word of mouth, so it's incredible to try and preserve the history by trying to understand the principles, how it was designed, but also it's lovely to have the resources of the older alumni who can tell us how Bow was back in their day. So it's really important to, we think, pass down that knowledge, and it should be with all of these vehicles. They should all have their kind of next keepers to know how to drive them, how to fix them.
That's awesome. It's nice to see the future is in good hands. Good luck tomorrow. Well done. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Behind me you can see a 1978 Ferrari 512BB in blue, beautiful, and this one is actually for sale. It's for sale at £230,000. This is chassis number 25571. Asking price £230,000. That's at RM Auctions. And then over here you've got this beautiful 330 GTC. This is actually the same vintage as me. It's a 1968, and this is £495,000 again at RM private sale. So check these two out. They're pretty cool. So this here is a lineup of Fiats and Renault. Now the Renault is more interesting because that's a new Renault 5. It's the first time I've seen it in the metal. And I gotta say, while in the pictures there's certainly a hint of Renault 5 silhouette about it, in reality, I don't see it. I don't really see the similarity as close as it appeared in the pictures. Having said that, I mean, you can see here at the back, can't you, a little bit of the hint of a Renault 5 Turbo. But having said that, that's a handsome thing, that actually. Yeah, it's a good-looking little thing. Very attractive, certainly a bit different. Quite appealing, massive wheels on it, some nice decals, some nice touches on the inside. I don't know if you can make that out because of the reflections, but yellow trim. Yellow lining on the seats. Look at the decals there, and the little detailed touches like motifs inside the headlights and on the lower lights. But yeah, oh, and here as well, that's quite clever, isn't it? Wonder that looks like it lights up. So that's pretty cool. This is also a Renault. This was a line of Renaults. I don't know what happened to the others, but there's a Clio there. On the other side, we've got the Fiat 500s, Fiat 500 electric, and then the Panda, and then the classic Fiat 500, which is adorable. Look how tiny it is. If you see this is a Fiat 500 modern one. That's the electric one. And if I swing across, look how tiny. You can't even see it because there's one man there, and he's completely obscured it. Can you believe that? That's all it takes to obscure it. And this is the Renault Clio. In front of that is the Renault 4, and the Renault 4, of course, at Paris, they introduced a brand new Renault 4. So along with the Renault 5, they've now also got a Renault 4, which is a bit bigger than the Renault 5, and also electric, but it's inspired by and using the silhouette of this thing, which in the time was, hugely popular, rugged, durable, easy to drive, easy to run. Likewise with this. the Italian Mini, pretty much. Tiny thing when you think about it. How did that become a family car? Today, like, you couldn't even contemplate it, right? But look here, you can actually see there's not much reflection here, but look how tiny the interior is. There you go, that's your luggage space. And it's a convertible or canvas top. There's a Renault, and then in front of that, there's an Icon. And you can see now the design similarity between that and the Renault 5e. This is a Renault 5 Turbo, of course, mental nutter thing with the engine in the back. And how did they ever make that go in a straight line? God only knows. Because you think, like, it's just bonkers. Look at that. So basic, so cool, so much fun. Just sitting there, you don't even have to drive it, and you know that's going to be hilarious fun. Fiat hashtag, no, actually there's an Instagram tag 128_red if you want to check out that one. X19, love these. I think I reviewed one of these in the same color as this in Dubai. Belongs to a friend of mine, Rehan, I think, if I remember correctly. And this is a Renault, and another old Fiat. You can see a Mercedes GT63, cool, fine. But what's more interesting is this, check it out. Subaru Impreza. This has got the 555. In the days when you could have the cigarette advertising, tobacco advertising, 555 on that, and then Rothmans on this Porsche. And this Porsche is actually very special. Not that the Subaru isn't, I mean, that's amazing, look at it. We'll have another good look at that Subaru because look at the front of it, it's absolutely bonkers. But then I will want to, and it's actually Colin McRae's Subaru. Oh, so that actually makes this even more special. That is actually Colin McRae, Derek Ringer, that's their Subaru. Hence the famous livery on it, but also equally famous the livery on this one. And this is also, I'm impressed by whose car this is, because this is Saeed Al-Hajri's car. Saeed Al-Hajri, Middle East rally driver, Middle East champion, and John Spiller, who I believe later was co-driver for Mohammed bin Sulayem as well. And this thing, for me, back in the day, before the advent of four-wheel drive, Quattro, Lancia Delta Integrale, Peugeot 205 GTI, these were the rally cars of the day. So this was it. I mean, if you wanted to know what was the ultimate rally car, it was that. And you even had the Dakar versions, which were lifted. But these were just absolutely iconic. The livery is iconic. The design, the look, the style, absolutely sensational. Talking to design and stuff like that, look at this thing behind. This is actually a streamlined concept. And this, I can give you some details about this one. This is a 1955 W196R show car, streamlined body. That's quite extraordinary. And we've got over here, I'm trying not to get into people's way as they are understandably trying to get photos and videos, as am I, of incredible beasts such as that. Porsche Le Mans racing car pretty much, but check that out. This is of course the continuation replica Aston Martin DB5 James Bond car, and you can see over here that it's got this race shield with the bullet holes. What came out of that? Was that the oil slick? And that came out of that, and then down there, and they did it earlier actually. So if you check out, you see there's an extra exhaust pipe. That's actually for the smoke, machine. There you got his gun, rifle extension there, James Bond kit, and then you've got inside all the gadgets, including you flip up central knob with the navigation thing. It has got the opening for the ejector seat as well. That's the roof panel from where the ejector seat comes out. And the outriggers at the front. And of course the extended battering rams. And then of course it also has a rotating number plate. Now I did do a live video earlier on the same channel. So if you can go into the live section, you'll see that. It's right at the beginning of that video. And in that, you'll see it rotating its number plates, and you will see the smoke machine in action as well. So do go and check that out. Shelby Cobra in red, 1968. 68 is a good vintage, I keep telling everybody. So, but this is not 1968. This is 68 number. It's early, obviously. The car itself is early. In fact, it's got registration text just there of December 62 on it. There you go. But that's pretty much a race car, as you can see. And the junkyard dog. That's pretty cool. Over here you've got another crazy Aston Martin. It's a bit bonkers. It's got tartan trim on it and it's completely unrealistic. Another Aston Martin over there, but I want to show you this thing before we get completely... So this is the interesting thing about this event, is that we'll talk about the demographics of the people attending this event. And I think that if you, over the course of this video, I think that you've seen quite clearly that as we've come from the other side of the road where the veteran cars are to this side where the supercars are, and as you can see, I'm struggling to get footage here of this Regera, Koenigsegg Regera, because of all of the people swarming around these supercars, but also notably younger generation of people that are swarming around these cars, and I guess a lot of them are themselves YouTubers, content creators, Instagrammers, would-be influencers, etc., etc. And here is a Pagani. And back there, Porsche. Right, so I think this is as good a place as any to bring this coverage to an end. I hope you enjoyed it. Well, we have actually come to the end of the road, so there you go. So I hope you enjoyed it. So this was the St. James Motoring Spectacle in Pall Mall. Hi guys, I've been writing. This is my first book, a novel, an all-out action thriller, and this one is a collection of 13 stories I've written over the course of 2 decades. The Ulysses Files and the Quantum Races by BC Guy are out now on Amazon.com.